Let's speak to our correspondent now, Gulliver Cragg, standing by in Bucha. Hello to Gulliver. Tell us a little bit about what's been taking place on the anniversary.
Well, there are several ceremonies taking place today, including with the participation of President Zelensky, reflecting the fact that this is a hugely important anniversary for Ukraine, because in a way it's the anniversary of two things. One is the really very unexpected victory when Ukrainian forces managed to force the Russian invaders out of Kiev region. Bucha has become sort of central and symbolic to that victory. And so today there are ceremonies honouring those who fought for this region. There's going to be a street in their honour opened and officially named today. It's also, of course, the anniversary of the discovery of the terrible war crimes committed by Russian forces in Bucha and the killings of civilians. As you mentioned, the prosecutor's office has said today that they count more than 1,400 now civilian deaths in Bucha district during the 33 days of occupation. They say that some 9,000 war crimes have been, that many cases have been opened, and they've identified some 100, around about 100 Russian servicemen who have been served notices of suspicion. Of course, those men are sadly not in captivity in Ukraine. The Russian armed forces beat a retreat from Kiev region around about the 31st of March, and it was something that surprised the whole world, really. And it was after that, only remember, that Ukraine's Western allies really started supplying the country with heavy weapons in large quantities. Before that, Ukraine had received some weapons, yes, from Western allies, particularly the United States and Great Britain. But mainly this is a victory here that they achieved on their own, and which did surprise, I think, the world and also most Ukrainians, to be honest.
Yeah, pivotal moment militarily, but also symbolically. Gulliver, what's the atmosphere like in Bucha these days?
Well, really, normal life has returned to Bucha to quite a startling degree. Coming in here this morning, I saw a school bus driving full of children. Children are back. I spoke to one resident just now who said on some days she manages even to forget that the war is going on and what happened here. Most people, of course, are very, very scarred by the trauma and the memory of what happened here, despite the very impressive reconstruction. Where I'm standing is pretty much in the city centre. I think you can see behind me on that side one building that still is clearly damaged, but further in that direction, a building that was very scarred by the shelling has now been completely restored. The black wall you can see there behind me on that side is a supermarket that was completely destroyed. It's now been rebuilt and reopened. Very impressive reconstruction here, but I think it's worth underlining that Bucha contrasts with a lot of other places in Ukraine that have been freed after Russian occupation, particularly in the east, in Kharkiv region, places that are poorer and have had much fewer resources for reconstruction so far. Bucha is lucky in the sense that it was a comparatively wealthy town before the full-scale invasion. It's located very close to Kiev, and its economy is dependent more on commuters going in and out of Kiev than on factories or farms, which is more the case in places in Kharkiv region where basically both industry and agriculture have ground almost to a complete halt.
All right, Gulliver, thank you very much. Gulliver Cragg reporting from Bucha.